My 22 female boyfriend, 34M, sold my childhood Beanie Babies to buy us a pet lizard. Just want to preface by saying these are the Beanie Babies I had. These are not BF's listings. 1999 Beanie Baby W tag error. April birthday bear, Chef Robuchon bear. This one is the most hurtful not only because it was extremely rare but because my uncle was a food writer around this time and gave this to me as a gift. These were all sold for about a $2,000 profit I believe. But my boyfriend will not share with me the exact number nor will he tell me who he sold them to. Using a throwaway account because I am too embarrassed to ask my friends about this situation lol and I always see this Reddit on Twitter. Anyway, the title of this post says it all. I am livid writing this. We have been dating for about 4 months. Boyfriend works for a famous auction house. Ladies, never show an auctioneer your valuables. And I am a senior in college. He met my parents for the first time a little over a month ago. We had a beautiful dinner in my childhood townhouse. After dinner, I invited him to see my childhood bedroom because he's my boyfriend. It's a big room but he kept returning to the display case where I keep a curated collection of about 15 Beanie Babies acquired from the years 1999–2008. Most of them were gift to me as a child or put in the case by my mom who collected many Beanie Babies throughout the 90s and early 2000s. I saw him looking for a long time at the babies. He is trained in knowing the value of an item by looking at it, and he had previously expressed interest in entering weirder, more niche auction markets like for Beanie Babies. Knowing this, I offered to let him borrow the 3 babies I listed earlier since they are a diverse selection and he could learn how to price them, about their history, the type of clients who would buy them etc. from his bosses. How auctions work, and before you ask me why I gave him the babies, remember he is my boyfriend and I loved him. Basically I was just being nice and made it extremely clear that he was to bring them back immediately after he finished learning more about their history. Obviously that is not what happened or I would not be making this post. He has an interest as well in exotic animals and many of his friends have safely and legally purchased certain exotic birds and reptiles in the past from legal American breeders. Just want to make that clear. He currently has a 5-year-old Schnauzer but has told me before he wants to get more interesting with his animal purchases. This is where the lizard comes in. As far as I was aware, my boyfriend was solvent and there seemed to be no reason why he couldn't purchase an iguana or something with his own money. This ended up not being the case. 2 weeks passed since I gave him the Beanie Babies. I asked him multiple times for updates on when he would return them and he said he was just waiting for a final appraisal on the Chef Robuchon, which I thought was fair because of how rare it is. Big fucking mistake. In this 2-week period he had already sold my Beanie Babies and was working on purchasing 3 Mexican alligator lizards from an ethical breeder in Texas. Let me be clear that yes, this is a beautiful pet lizard and I am happy he got more than one so they could be friends with each other. But not with my money. I did not find out about the purchase until the 2-week mark came and went and I confronted him about my Beanie Babies. He explained what he had done and asserted that the lizards were for us and that he had already named the girl lizard after me and she was responding well to the name. Fucking pathetic. He claims there is absolutely no way to buy back my Beanie Babies, and even if he could, he is apparently in so much debt from the master's program he completed at Columbia that he would not be able to make another $2,000 purchase without my family's assistance anyway. Mind you, we have had many expensive dinners and nights out in our time dating but I had absolutely no idea that these were all put on a corporate credit card. I obviously want to dump his ass for taking advantage of my kindness my trust and for taking away sentimental childhood items that I cherished. But currently the lizards live in my apartment and I have grown attached to them. I realize this is ridiculous lol but what should I do? If I break up with him I am afraid he will remove the lizards or that his sudden absence will be shocking to the lizards which are all very young. If I don't break up with him I will never truly have trust in my relationship. PL's advise lol. He stole from you, he knew the whole time he was going to do it too. He stole items that had meaning to you and were worth a lot of money. Also, he's using his corporate card for the wrong reasons as well, that will catch up to him. He honestly sounds like a drug addict but I guess he bought lizards instead of drugs, so that's something? Definitely file a police report and obviously dump him. He only cares about himself. Edit. I just remembered he's 34 and he did this. Are there any other red flags? He seems manipulative and dishonest. Also contact the auction house and tell them what he did. They may be able to get them back because he sold stolen property. Get it all in writing, texts what he did if you haven't already, change the locks, dump him immediately and take him to small claims court. If he wants your lizards back, he can reimburse you for the cost of the BB plus damages. Or you can straight up say, the lizards are mine, you lied to me and purchased them with money you got from selling my things, kick rocks. They won't miss his absence, they're lizards, they'll be fine. Seriously, do not pursue this relationship any further. He is going to do this to you again and again. Dump him, file a police report, keep the lizards. And maybe reach out to local reptile groups to inform them that a guy who 100% does not have the money to be taking in expensive pets is nonetheless collecting them, so that even if he does succeed in getting them back from you, they'll be warned to be on the lookout if it transpires he can't take care of them. It's time to call the police and his employer. It's the only way you will get them back. Obviously the relationship is over, so you may as well get your property back. If the lizards are in your apartment, keep them. Fuck this guy. Jesus Christ. Those are your lizards now, dump this fucking conman. WTF? Sue his ass for the cost of the Beanie Babies plus pain and suffering for having to put up with his idiocy. Do not continue a relationship with someone who violates the most basic understandings between people. Is this a troll post? He stole from you. Go to the police. Am I a gold digger? I, mid-30 SF. Am divorced with a kid, 12, in a beautiful relationship with T, mid-30 SM, who has 2 young children, 4, 6. We enjoy mostly weekends together, as our kids are in different school districts. T and I have been together for almost 3 years. He hates our time apart and has asked me to move in with him a couple of times. I have said no. Moving in together when you have children, a big commitment for everyone. 2 months ago, he proposed. He told me he wants us to spend our lives together and not apart. We can grow old together and compare crinkly tattoos. It was really thoughtful and I cried a lot. I thought a lot about it and discussed it with my kid. After a couple of weeks, poor guy. I accepted on the condition we have a prenup and agree on finances and parenting ahead of moving in. I'm a lawyer. This, dear Redditors, is where things fell through. Parenting we agree on everything. Prenup we agree, we both lost a lot to our exes. Finances we agree only up to a point. Here's the rub. He wants us to live in his house, with only his name on it. Mine is too small for all of us. Upon his death, everything that's his will go to his 2 children, including the home. I want us to buy a home together with both our names on it. Upon one of our deaths, everything will go to the other. When we both pass, then the 3 children will equally inherit. This may be a cultural difference. In my family, nothing passes to the next generation until the previous has passed. In his, things pass down from the father and the kids take care of the mother. I am a lawyer and I frankly don't trust my future stepkids would do this, nor should they have to. It's expensive enough out there and I want them to build their own lives. For context as to why I feel we should pass to each other before our kids. This is how it's done in my family because, to be perfectly morbid, the people in my family live a ridiculously long time, mid to late 90s. In contrast, men in his family tend to pass in their early 70s. I have been saving for my retirement since my early 20s and am terrified about my future should I live this long alone. U.S. healthcare, folks. My divorce took most of what I had saved for retirement and I don't want to be a financial burden on my kids. Our points of view are so different. He suggested I am using him for money. We make similar incomes, by the way, middle class. I think he is using me. He wants to enjoy the benefits of a wife. The most intense is to have me help him raise his young kids, while not treating me and my kid as family. As soon as he's gone and he can't benefit anymore, I'm on my own and worse, kicked out of our home, as it will go to his kids. I'd rather just keep dating and living separately as we have been to avoid this future jilting. He was hurt by this and really wants us to live together. He suggested I take a life insurance policy on him. I would absolutely do this, but it still doesn't sit right with me to have a partner not providing for you after they pass. So, Redditors, what do you guys think? Am I a gold digger? Could I be looking at this a different way? I value the feedback on this sub and I would like other points of view. Only you know if you're a gold digger, but it doesn't seem like it to me. You seem quite independent. I think your perspective is perfectly reasonable. And if he wants to live with you badly enough, it seems that he should be able to honor it, and certainly that he shouldn't call you names. If it were me, I'd give it a bit more time. In no way, shape or form are you a gold digger. He's just being selfish financially. I promise you that this won't be the only thing once you two get married. Be smart. Do not marry this man under his terms. You are a fully capable woman who is better than being a loved but still second-class useful tool for a man. Don't let him treat you this way. You really are better than that, and your child deserves better than that too. Don't marry him. That's a huge thing to not agree on. Where do shared assets go under his plan? If you die before him, doesn't that leave your child vulnerable? You're not a gold digger. You simply sound sensible, and in my books when you get married you take on a vow to take care of each other and you become a family, all kids included. Even in death. I can't really understand how a partner could be okay with the thought their loved one could potentially be made homeless and with nothing after their death. I am curious as to why you would be happy without moving in together, getting married and keeping things separate. Wouldn't you rather find someone who truly wants you two and your kids to be a part of their life? Do you plan on having children together? You are not a gold digger. Keeping house together means tons of money invested in it. From both of you. Plus attachment. I would not want to be kicked out at old age. And such small kids are definitely a task to raise. BTW, are both schools comparable? You going to put stress of changing schools on middle schooler, not on babies? And I don't see how buying house together with similar parts in down payment and similar payments is, using him, if anything living together he has more expenses on 2 kids etc. No, you aren't a gold digger. You just don't want to be homeless with your child in the very possible and common event that your stepkids wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire. I would never live in a home and pay toward its expenses if I weren't on the title. That's just a dumb decision that leaves many, mostly women, high and dry when the spouse passes. We had a child and my husband doesn't love me anymore. I'm at a breaking point here. This has been going on for over 3 years. I really need some ideas on what to do, or if there even is something I can do. As the title says, we got pregnant. We were trying for it and both excited, had been together for over 10 years. When I told my husband, he was happy, but at around 4 or 5 months when my belly started showing a bit, the first problem started, erectile function issues. He started doing things we used to do together without me, going to the mall, grocery shopping, and just spending much more time out of home and leaving me alone without knowing when I could even expect him home. He is a freelance and spent a big part of the day at home, me too. Now, our child is over 5 years old, but the issues have been there all of the time. He's a great father, but he doesn't love me anymore. His words, we have sex rarely, right now, it's been over 4 months. When we do have sex he doesn't kiss me anymore, he doesn't come behind me to hug me or pinch my lady parts, we don't spend time together, not for lack of my initiative. All through pregnancy and after, I've taken care of my appearance and cooked homemade meals. I'm kind, funny, easily a 8 out of 10. When stepping out of home, he has said he appreciates me cooking and being a good mother. We talk about our relationship, which ends with me crying and him saying he doesn't want to hurt me. He doesn't talk about divorce or separation. We tried therapy with 2 different therapists, but both times we didn't like the other. The woman therapist agreed with me and asked my husband how long I should wait if he'll ever feel anything for me, and so my husband felt she attacked him. The man therapist told my husband I'm in a sensitive state, having given birth and breastfeeding, so my husband should give me a peck sometimes. Needless to say, I didn't really like him dismissing my feelings. And because therapy is expensive, we haven't tried anymore. I think it's a low testosterone issue or father issue. He doesn't have any older male relatives who could give him a good example on family issues, partnership and such. He definitely has low self-esteem issues as well. Sorry the post is so long. So what should I do? Stay with my child's father, because he's an adequate father and provider, and give up on the hope of being touched and loved? Or start separations? Or get a lover? Or start slipping Viagra in my husband's smoothie? Maybe some guys out there have had similar feelings after your partner gave birth and you started a family? This seems to have gone on long enough with you saying you're unhappy and miss his affection and him doing nothing or not enough about it. If he's not bringing up divorce or separation, then maybe it's time you did. Him being a good father doesn't have to have anything to do with you. He can still be a good father to his child without being married to you. You deserve to be happy and to have affection in your life. If he's not into you anymore, then you should be able to find someone who is. My view is that he isn't into the relationship anymore. No, you shouldn't stay just cause he is their father, but you do love him and you are willing to work, but how much work do you have to put in and him just be? I would start a separation plan and move on. It's okay to be friends and do good co-parenting even though it is extremely hard. It is okay and it does happen. I wish you luck and never ever feel it's you. It's him, girl. You got this. Why is it that you don't think that you deserve more than this unhappy life? Because therapy is expensive, we haven't tried anymore. I mean, can you really afford not to, if the marriage is just continuing to deteriorate, and he doesn't like the fact that's causing you pain but can't bring himself to do the things that would alleviate that for you? Honestly, though, I don't think there is a good fix here. Apparently pregnancy was such a turn-off for your husband that he's never going to recover. If that's not something he can or is willing to tease out in therapy, you can see if he's open to letting you get your needs met elsewhere. But if you're going to go behind his back, just break up and set a good example for your kid by looking out for your mental and emotional well-being. Sounds like something mentally cracked in him when you were still pregnant. Kinda of like a, oh I'm going to be a father, type reaction, but never really coming out of the fear part. How was his life growing up? Any good male figures around? Does he have friends or family with kids? I talked about us this morning again and he admitted he's been talking to another woman. Only for 1-2 months, but I'm gutted. I dropped my child to kindergarten and am currently home crying. It's such a stab in the heart. I asked to see the messages, he of course didn't show them to me. I told him he'd have to stop talking to her, there isn't room for both of us in his room. But I know now he's just so over me and I feel like dying. Is he depressed? It might be worth him getting checked out just in case. Other than that, and after reading your replies, I don't know what to suggest. You deserve to be in a loving relationship. You deserve to have someone who shows you affection, is intimate with you and who wants to spend time with you. He doesn't seem willing to make the marriage work and has almost checked out of the relationship. You can't make it work on your own and are suffering trying to. Think about it this way. Is this the type of marriage you want your child to have when they grow up? You can only fake personal happiness for their sake for so long, and it is worse for the kids to see and hear their parents' sadness or anger. Find another therapist who you both can work with. If it doesn't work out, then know you did what you could. Realize you can do hard things. You born a child and are doing your best. You are a role model and don't forget to take care of yourself too. I'm pregnant and debating getting an abortion without telling my boyfriend. I, 21F, found out I'm pregnant this morning and I don't know what to do. I'm not ready. I'm a struggling college student, I can barely support myself and I have no financial aid or even possibility of support from my parents or other family. My boyfriend, 22M, has been my rock for the past 5 years of knowing him online, and about a month ago we actually met up for a week where he was staying at my place. It was lovely, and also my first time having sex with someone. However, he told me afterwards when cleaning up that he realized the condom broke and became concerned, but then later in the night was very excited, telling me how he always wanted a family with me and that a part of him wishes that I would get pregnant and it might just be fate. I thought the hypotheticals he told me were very sweet, and in the midst of the aftermath of intimacy I was going along with what he was saying. But I was still concerned, but didn't outright break his heart by saying no, so I vaguely agreed with his enthusiasm, but told him if I was pregnant I wouldn't be able to support our child. He told me if that's the case I could drop out and move to live with him in Saudi Arabia, that his family would accept me because they seem to love me when he talks about me. But that we'd have to get married so that the society couldn't judge a baby in a negative way. All of this is a scary change for me. I want to keep studying this year and finish my bachelor's and prove to my family that I actually could be something. Getting pregnant and dropping out is what they thought would happen and I'd be a laughing stock. But also more importantly, I want the ability to be someone more than just a housewife. I love my boyfriend so much, and I 100% trust him that the condom breaking was an accident. I put it on him to be sexy. But I have sharper fake nails and I don't know if it could have pierced the condom. Sad face. But I'm also just not ready to get married, let alone have a child. I don't want this to ruin our relationship, but I know it would. I'm debating on whether or not I should get an abortion, and just not tell my boyfriend, because he doesn't even know I'm pregnant. I haven't told him about anything yet. If I get an abortion he would never know we lost our child. But I know he would never agree to it because it conflicts with our religion, Islam. And there's an option for support he can provide. I just don't want to move to a country I have little experience with the language or culture with, as well as having to adjust to everything and potentially marrying out of fear of our baby being scrutinized being born out of wedlock. I feel guilty about killing a baby and lying to the person who's been honest and supportive of me since high school. Sad face. I'm at a loss right now and I don't know what to do. I can't trust myself to make a decision right now even though I know I have to. Too long did not read. I can't support a baby right now, and my boyfriend lives far away from me. Having a baby would mean adjusting to his culture and language and getting married. I want to finish college but I know I won't be able to support myself and our baby. It's quite coincidental that you had sex once. The condom broke and he was excited about it. It almost sounds like he planned for that to happen. Don't trust him and protect yourself. Don't have a kid with a man you barely know, who's probably lying to you. And definitely don't move to Saudi Arabia. He told me if that's the case I could drop out and move to live with him in Saudi Arabia. That his family would accept me because they seem to love me when he talks about me. But that we'd have to get married so that the society couldn't judge a baby in a negative way. I don't believe so. He can trap you there with his family. This screams not without my daughter. Sounds to me like he tried to baby trap you. And has succeeded. Abort and block him. Yeah, this is very suspicious. Virgin having sex for the first time and the condom breaks and you magically get pregnant? This screams baby trap to me, especially since he brought that up later on. Get the abortion. The fact is that you don't know this man well enough in person to raise a kid with him. You're not evil and not killing a baby, it's not formed yet since you just discovered your pregnancy. But yes, I think it's the right thing to do since you know you cannot care for them. As someone already said, it just sounds premeditated and as if he wants to force you to marry him. I'm sorry this is happening to you. I don't know how to break this to you, but the condom didn't break by accident. This was planned. He probably put a pin through it. Do not under any circumstances go to SAW. Yeah, wouldn't recommend you having any children in that situation.